I'm crazy for watching this. I'm crazy for watching this with an active FBI agent, aren't I? All right, here we go. Let me show you, chat. This guy, all he does is it makes I hate X videos. And this is him doing astrophysics and saying he hates it. All right. Space VTuber physicist reacts to I hate astrophysics. Okay, let's see what he has to say.
By the beginning of my junior year in college, I had already finished all of the required classes for the physics major. All that was left standing between me and graduation were a couple of physics electives and trying to resist the call of the void.
Okay, that's so real. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible movie watcher, by the way. I pause all the time.
Anyways, unlike everyone else in the major, I had to take 2 more physics
May I
electives
send
that
a
would
link of a
normally be.
playlist of 5 videos that I think would be appropriate?
I don't think we have time. We only have like 30 minutes before the collab, so you can send it though. I just won't watch it this stream.
Required. This was part of an agreement I'd worked out with the head of the physics department back in my freshman year as a condition to let me test out of the first year of the major.
Never listen to this. I got fucking burnt by so many admin staff during my studies that would say one thing and then I would get to the point and they would change their mind. Oh my god. Sometimes I had it in writing and they would still change their mind. It's awful. If you ever make an academic decision based off of what advisor person says and it's not like a set policy, you never know, okay? They'll say they'll make an exception for you, but they rarely do, okay? Those institutions, they don't care. I'm triggered.
I had to take 2 more physics electives than would normally be required. This was part of an agreement I'd worked out with the head of the physics department back in my freshman year as a condition to let me test out of the first year of the major. But by junior year, I was starting to regret my decision. The problem lies in the fact that most advanced topics in physics require similarly advanced math in order to understand what's going on.
Yep, sounds about right.
So many of the undergraduate physics electives in these advanced fields
wait. I need to look at these. I need to look at which ones are what. Let me see. Let me grab the video. What are these? We have condensed matter topology. Okay, topology is a bitch. Differential geometry for high energy physics. Differential geometry wasn't that bad. Tensor calculus was also not that bad. Topology is the thing that I didn't really get. But tensor calculus is just like multivariable calculus with linear algebra mixed in. It's not terrible. Differential geometry is like you are trying to find the area in a sphere, which is fine too. It's oversimplification, but it's doable. But the math is true. It's bad. It's very bad.
Out a lot of content that's crucial to understanding how these things work, but is otherwise impossible to understand without the necessary math background. As a result, I didn't really want to take an undergraduate physics course, as I saw them as a complete waste of my time. Naturally, I thought
that undergraduate physics courses are fun though. You like learn the concept. Dude is
I should just take some math courses for my physics electives, but it turns out that all 8 of the math courses accepted as physics electives are locked behind the real analysis math sequence. Never mind that real analysis isn't a requirement for the physics major, and that the vast majority of these courses have absolutely nothing to do with analysis and can be taken with a basic understanding of Calculus 3. But this is just what my university decided to do.
I didn't have to do this.
This is all a ploy on the part of my university to make me take more classes and thus spend more money to learn the same amount of content, but I'm pretty sure my academic advisor actually watches my channel.
That's awful. Your academic advisor is watching your channel? I guess I have an FBI agent watching my channel, so it's not that bad.
So instead, I'll say that I would have been better off listening to the career advice of the homeless vagrants that constantly accost me on my walk back to my dorm instead of listening to my advisor's brain dead takes, followed by the fact that I think the requirements might just be a scam to get more money out of me. So with physics and math courses crossed off of my list, there were relatively few worthwhile courses I could still take. One of these narrowed down choices was an astrophysics class called Physics of Galaxies. I know absolutely nothing about astrophysics and had never...
Okay. Chat, I've taken Physics of Galaxies. If you think you go into Physics of Galaxies and you're going to learn something like, ooh, what's a black hole? This is how they move. These are why stars twinkle in the night sky. you are in for so much pain. It is actually a mathematical horror. I had night terrors during that class because I would wake up and think about the cosmic dread, the heat death of the universe, and then I would calculate it. I would know the mathematical formulas for the end of the universe, and the math was ugly, and so was the reality. Okay, it was bad. I don't know what his experience was, but I suffered through that class.
Taking a course in the subject.
Oh.
I saw the word physics in the title of the class and thought to myself, how bad can it be? I'm a physics major. And so
Yay,
began
me
my
too.
semester of unimaginably excruciating pain.
Oh, he got
Almost
debated.
as soon as the first class began,
debated,
I
didn't he?
realized that something was wrong. The course didn't have any prerequisites, but as we went around the table to do our introductions, I realized I was not only the only non-astro major in the course, but also one of the 3 students out of a class of roughly 20 that weren't seniors. I didn't have time to mull over my fears, however, because the professor soon handed out an informal assessment to gauge our relative knowledge of the course material. The quiz was only 1 page long, but like the U.S. Air Force...
Top 3 things math majors and physics majors are afraid of. 1 question exams. If you get a 1 question exam, I start getting a gray hair. Oh my god. I took a midterm once where it was a single question, and it was like to calculate the energy value of a certain of a certain interaction, and you had to do like diagrams, you had to do all of the significant unit conversions, you had to do multiple formulas to get there, and if you fucked up at any stage, you were cooked for the rest of the segment. It was 1 question, 100 points. Like, can you? Oh my! I'm getting. This is a PTSD video. Why did I pick this one? I'm gonna cry. Okay. I'm having the best time. I'm watching. My physicist husband agrees with everything you say. You should ask him. You should give him a 1-pager quiz. You should be like, hey, pop quiz, 1 question, 20 parts. See what he says.
Over Dresden in 1945. I bombed the shit out of it. I couldn't even answer what a galaxy was, let alone explain how something called AGN feedback affected star formation rates. I would say that the only thing I got right was my name, but after I turned in my sheet, the professor announced to the class that because this was an informal assessment, we weren't supposed to write our names on it. So having
he literally got every question wrong, including writing his name. Okay, that's pretty funny.
Exposed myself as a world-class moron to my professor in a class full of people I didn't know, about a topic I'd never studied before. I wasn't feeling so hot. I thought about dropping the class, but there were no alternatives, and I really needed this credit. So I did something for the first time in my entire academic career. I reached out to the professor and explained that I was struggling to understand the course material.
Goated move. If you're actually struggling to learn the course material, ask for help. Okay? They have a lot of resources. They can do extra supplementary lessons. Most professors never even get people interested in that sort of stuff, and it's a free resource. Use it. You're paying for it. The school's ripping you off anyway. You might as well get your money's worth.
I described my apprehensions with regards to the fact that I was the only non-astro major, that I was younger than most of the class, and that I understood absolutely nothing on the pre-course quiz. She responded cordially and told me that my lack of experience was nothing to be concerned about so long as I paid attention in the class and did a little extra reading on the side. I felt genuinely reassured by her comments, and so I decided to stay in the class.
One time I asked my professor for help and he said, "You don't get this." Oh, how do I help?
It's okay. I mean, not all professors are good professors. I once went to a math professor and I asked for help, and he said, "This is the dumbest question I've ever heard. You should drop out of the math program." So, hey, sometimes they burn you, but other times I've also had a lot of help before. Okay, I've had people like make extra quizzes for me. So, hey, I've got some bad ones too. OMG, what? Okay, the question was pretty bad though. I was asking what a derivative was in a calculus 3 class, so it was pretty. I don't know what was happening with me that day, but I was like, what is DX?
I go to chemistry tutoring literally every day. I go to see the TA for his supplementary lessons that he does twice a week, his office hours on Friday. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
That's fine.
I went to a CALC2 proc asking for help and he told me it was so easy and proceeded to skip 14 steps in front of MYI's.
Oh, I hate
just
that.
simplify.
I hate
Sir,
that.
I can't even
they just
read it
hand
out loud.
wave. They hand wave and they're like, yep, just skip to the end. If we skip these steps. Yo, what the fuck? How are you asking what dx dy is in a college math class? I was like, is this a fraction? It was literally calculus 3. It was like we were doing multivariable calculus. But hey, you know, sometimes I get brain damage on my way to school, okay? Leave me alone.
By class number 2, however, I realized I had made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. Not only did the lecture material go completely over my head, but I realized that all of the other non-seniors had dropped the class, leaving me
Pool, welcome in.
astronomically underqualified in comparison to my peers.
That's kind of a red flag if literally every one of your classmates who isn't a senior drops out.
Equally unfortunately, it was now too late to drop the class, so I figured that I would just bite my lip and get it over with.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with astrophysics, but the best way I can describe it is astronomy with bits and pieces of every other field of physics stuffed into it. For example, and I promise this is interesting, there are these giant clouds of gas that surround galaxies known as the circumgalactic medium, or CGM for short. These clouds are long-lived astronomical objects, meaning that they generally stick around for the star-forming lifetimes of their host galaxies. As a physicist, however, one of the first questions you might ask is, why don't they just collapse in on themselves as a result of gravity? Gravity likes pulling things inward, and because these are clouds of dust, there is no physical contact that could stop the compression. An easy explanation would be that the whole cloud spins and that the centrifugal force keeps them up, but we can observe that these clouds actually don't spin. These clouds of dust literally just sit there in the middle of space and don't fall in on themselves. If you want to take a guess as to why these structures don't implode, here's your chance.
Wait. Sparse particles? I don't think it's dark matter, because dark matter works on a universal, like a massive universal scale. This is smaller than that. It's galaxy, but not like full, like not a universal expansion, because galaxies still stay within. Is it like hydro? Is it the? It might be like the hydrodynamic interactions, where it's like you have. It's related to the speed of sound. Like you can make sonic booms because something is traveling faster than the density of the particles around it. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not gonna explain. I'm not gonna explain advanced physics. Let's see what this YouTuber tells us.
Fall in on themselves. If you want to take a guess as to why these structures don't implode, here's your chance. Well, according to the most recent data we have, the main reason these clouds don't collapse in on themselves is actually, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Supersonic turbulence.
That's the word. Oh, I was right. Oh my gosh. I was right. Also, hey, Dolph, thank you. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Whoa, I think I was right. Hopefully,
only time
probably.
I ever reached out to a uni admin for help. I was like, hey, even the professors know how to fix this because the department head decided to rewrite the whole syllabus before midterms without an answer key. Can we get an extension until you fix it and figure out the answer? And the admin was like, no.
Yeah, sounds about right. I know, understand. Okay, let's see if the YouTuber explains it for us. If not, I'll explain.
But pretty much, the speed of sound is really low in space because of how spread apart all of the gas particles are.
Yes.
You might have heard how there's no sound in space. That's false. There is no sound in a vacuum because sound needs particles in order to propagate. The important caveat there is that the particles don't actually need to come into contact with each other to transmit the sounds. They just need to get close enough that the movement of one particle can force another one to move. Space isn't a perfect vacuum, however, so the sound waves can actually be transmitted by these tiny gas particles that make up the CGM. Because the speed of sound is so low in these structures given how far apart these particles are, it's relatively easy for a particle to go supersonic or hypersonic and generate shock waves like the ones you see off of jet fighters. These shock waves jostle around the other gas particles and are what keep the cloud from falling in on itself. Now,
well, that's assuming that the particles are moving. Once the heat death of the universe happens, it does collapse in on itself, by the way, because it's losing energy, okay? The movement is really just heat. So eventually there will be no more sonic booms, but they stay for quite a long time.
Are what keep the cloud from falling in on itself. Now, I think this is really cool, but it also means that in my astrophysics class, I was studying the same flow equations.
But instead I'm burning my brain. I feel like I unlearned English at this point. I don't understand a single word that this guy's saying. Help.
He's saying big galaxies don't collapse in on themselves because the speed of sound is really slow in space. So they're held together by sonic booms. So there's a bunch of sonic booms that are happening in space that hold galaxies open. And there's a bunch of math for it. Wow, look at that. And thank you for the fallen angel star. Oh my gosh.
My aerodynamic engineering major friends were studying. Nonetheless, I made it through the vast majority of the class unscathed. It was easily one of the most difficult classes I'd taken at my university, but with enough due diligence and the fact that all of the tests were open note,
that's surprising.
I managed to make it to the final assignment with a 100% average. The final
What is this?
project, however, was a 30-minute group presentation on a topic of active astrophysics research. It was also 50% of my grade.
I love
this. Posed a major
are those
problem
planets?
for me, not only because I was worried about understanding the relevant material, but mostly because I didn't know anyone in the class well enough to ask to be in their group. I reached out to 2 seniors I'd known from physics classes in the past, but they had already formed groups with their friends. I had to go through the course Slack channel and eventually...
That is... Chat... If you have to go into your course's Slack channel to find a group mate, you are truly fucked. That is where the bottom barrel groups are formed. As someone who's had to do it, oh, those are the worst groups I've ever had in group projects. It's actually so bad. Oh, this man's cooked.
Eventually, I found someone who I'll call P, who doesn't have a group yet. Together with another student, we formed a group and met with the professor to discuss our choice of topic. She directed us towards something called feedback and told us that it would be a good fit for our respective
My psychology teachers underestimates me. They go, oh, you're doing both years in 1 year. I get that you don't know how to do this. I proceed to get every question right, while most other kids who had done year 1 last year still struggled. This was first year content I hadn't learned yet, being revised in second year.
That's cool. I mean, sometimes I take classes and I fail them, so I don't pass every class. So I think I'm a decently good student. Also, thank you, Pine. Thanks for the 12K. Woo!
Naively, we agreed to her suggestion and started to work on our presentation. It was then that we discovered that the group part of the group presentation meant next to nothing. The professor would go on to clarify that we were each supposed to give a half-hour presentation about a subcategory of the topic we selected as a group. Now unable to...
Oh no. That's awful. Half hour? So you pick one topic and then everyone presents a 30-minute subcategory of that topic? That's a long... I would fall asleep in that class. How many students are in here? Damn.
Lean on the more competent upperclassmen in my group, my workload was significantly increased. At the very least, our group had been given slightly more time to prepare for our presentation, I thought, as I'd managed to sign us up for the second to last presentation time slot.
Oh, nice.
But like a bomb disposal engineer with Parkinson's, that didn't last very long either. The class after our meeting with her, the professor decided that instead of the sign-up system, which had worked perfectly well up until now, she was going to use a random number generator to see who was going first.
I hate that. I hate teachers who change the rules at the last second. Could you imagine if I saw the random number generator, I'd start shitting bricks. That's, oh my gosh. There are some people who want to do the project early, okay? I am a hater of random project assignment because a lot of people just want to get it done. Some other people have stuff going on with their lives and they would like to have it later. Why not let people choose? I'm just saying, if you want to do a random number, maybe do a random priority, as in like random people get a pick, but let people pick. That's my 2 cents.
And lo and behold, the feedback group was going to be first in 1.5 weeks' time.
Oh,
Einstein
Jeff, you're fucked.
that
Jeff, you really said, Jeff, you're fucked. That's so
be first in 1.5 weeks' time. Einstein once declared that God doesn't play dice as part of his opposition to quantum mechanics, and
I mean, he does,
hearing
clearly.
the professor put my head on the presentation chopping block like that, I'm tempted to agree. So under this new increased time pressure, I eked out a presentation in the time I had left. I was actually quite proud of the work I'd managed to accomplish, Not only had I learned all of the relevant content, but I'd even managed to memorize not only what to say, but also what hand motions and body language to use.
This man is so autistic. I'm sorry to say, if you are memorizing and practicing hand motions and body gestures before a presentation, you might be on the neurodivergent spectrum. I'm just saying, just FYI, you might want to get checked with a psychologist.
The call out wasn't necessary. Karbon 24.
Sorry, are you seeing yourself?
I bet you there wasn't another student in that class who could run through scholars' cradles like they were trying to cast a ninjutsu. I even did a test run of the presentation with my professor. To my immense surprise...
This feels pretty normal. Okay.
Speaking of your 2 cents.
You think so?
Fun fact. If you account for inflation from when that phrase was coined, it's closer to 8 cents.
Just my 8 cents, chat. From now on, I'm only gonna say just my 8 cents.
Karbon.
All right, put a 1 in chat if you rehearse body movements. Put a 2 if you don't. I want to see. Let's see a poll. Let's throw it in chat. 1 if you rehearse your body movements. 2 if you don't. Let's see what people say. All right. Well, I just found out that our community is all of you are neurodivergent. All of you are yep, every single one of you. I'm gonna go get a psychologist degree so that I can just come back and diagnose you. All right, armchair psychology you.
I do performing arts. I have to.
Oh my gosh. Oh no, there's so many of you. Well, okay, I don't do it, but I know a lot of people do.
Okay, Mr. God Complex.
I'm just saying.
In that class who could run through scholars' cradles like they were trying to cast a ninjutsu. I even did a test run of the presentation with my professor. To my immense surprise, she liked it.
We're watching
and outside
you,
of a couple of bibliographical suggestions, she said that I'd be good to go on project day.
Are you saying something? Are you saying that the chat reflects the streamer? I refuse.
Karbon, I grew up having to rehearse in mirrors how to emote or react and practice my tone and inflection. I had to learn how to pretend to sound normal.
Oh no.
Karbon, you talk in depth about science. Of course we are neurodivergent.
No, we're normal. Chat, we're normal. It's fine. Trust. Oh, why is my suit bugging out? My suit is buggy. Here, I'll change the pink. Then it won't be buggy.
With my professor. To my immense surprise, she liked it, and outside of a couple of bibliographical suggestions, she said that I'd be good to go on project day.
She liked the project.
When the day eventually did come, I walked into the class fully confident in my own skills. The actual content of my presentation went by smoothly,
find out if I'm autism till tomorrow, but I do performing arts, so I have to do it a lot.
Oh well, you're finding out tomorrow. That's kind of soon. Surprisingly soon.
My own skills. The actual content of my presentation went by smoothly,
Karbon,
and I was reasonably pleased with
damage.
myself when I asked if there were any questions.
I'm trying to watch the video! Chat with your brain damage! Sit down! I diagnosed you with ADHD as well! Teasing you.
With my professor. To my immense surprise, she liked it, and outside of a couple of bibliographical suggestions, she said that I'd be good to go on project day. When the day eventually did come, I walked into the class fully confident in my own skills. The actual content of my presentation went by smoothly, and I was reasonably pleased with myself when
All right, where's Glorp? I'm killing Glorp. Glorp, say your last words. Say your last words, Glorp. You're making a Karbon. Please spare me.
We watch you for fun. A nerd. We aren't normal.
Please spare me, Karbon.
Juzo wheeze, Juzo wheeze.
Please spare me. I'm dying, Father, please. And they're dead. They're gone. They're dead forever. Unfortunate, tragic. It's oh my gosh, they're silent. You're balding me in Chat is actually protesting. That's so funny. You're protesting. Oh my gosh. They're spamming every channel point redeem. Okay, fine. We'll bring back Glorp. We'll bring back Glorp.
No, don't do it. Goodbye, chat.
Here, let me find Glorp. Here we go. We'll bring back lore. Oh my.
I diagnose thee with narcissistic personality disorder.
I don't know what you're talking about here. I'll put Glorp right in front of me. See, Glorp can be in front. I'll be right here. Glorp can be right next to me.
Meow.
There you go. There you go. You happy? You happy, chat? There you go. You're free. You're alive. Yay.
I asked if there were any questions from the audience.
I
the
can't look
professor
at your face
immediately
anymore.
stood up and, without so
Put the
much as
helmet back, I
acknowledging me,
redeemed it.
walked up to the board. She pointed to a caption on one of the figures of a simulation I'd included and asked,
Gross.
"Can you explain what Lagrangian SPH calculations are?"
Oh, that's awful. That's awful. She like prepped a specifically highly technical question while this guy was presenting his presentation. After he went to her before class to like ask for feedback and she didn't say anything. Damn, she set him up for failure. I would hate to have her as a PhD advisor.
Lagrangian SPH calculations are? I told her that I couldn't because they weren't really part of what she'd asked me to present on, but she told me that anything in my presentation was fair game for her to ask about. And it continued on like this for nearly 10 minutes. Can you talk about the physical meaning of the Eddington
10 minutes?
What's the significance of the OH119.233 micrometer line they used in this study?
Okay, well, this was a final exam. I kind of see that.
What kind of machine learning model did they use to cluster this data? And so on.
What?
Dazed,
Jeez.
I sat down after she finished tearing into me and I'd apologized for not being more thorough in my research.
Did she do this for every presentation,
she went after
though?
Me, and while she fared better than I did, she too was interrogated by the professor about things that I later learned the professor was now mentioning for the first time. I tried to keep my spirits up and chalked up my professor's criticisms to simply her being thorough. She wasn't really saying that I'd done a bad job with her criticisms, I thought. Maybe she was just trying to help the class understand more material than any one student would have reasonably been able to present on.
Yes,
definitely a cope, but at the same time, not unheard of at my school. At least, this is what I thought until I got my grades back for the semester and saw that she'd given me a 78% on the presentation.
Okay, that's actually not that bad.
I was confused at first, but holy,
that's pretty good in my mind.
Initially, only to tear into me in class, I became livid. I think you could have easily started a fusion reaction on my forehead with how pressed I was. She said that I wasn't thorough enough in my research because I hadn't managed to answer all of her questions, which was total horse because she had initially told me I'd done a good job. I asked P how she'd done with the presentation, and it turns out that she'd also gotten dunked on by the professor. She, however, had a suggestion as to why our group had gotten singled out.
No video
After
for
a bit of digging, she discovered that our presentation topic was actually the subject of the professor's current research, and with
that's cruel and unusual punishment. There's no way you can't make the professor set them up with the current active research and said, hey, do a presentation here so I can dunk on you. This professor is a small PP. They're just trying to feel superior by having literal undergrads try to do a presentation that they have spent 7 years on. That's fucked.
It's more that our professor was considered to be a leading expert in the field. So in total, my professor had tricked us about the length of the presentation, moved my group's presentation date forward 2 weeks on a whim, and then proceeded to give us the hardest topic, knowing full well that the absolute dumbest person in the class, me, was a part of this group. The class might as well have been the 4th largest pyramid in the world the way I was baited. If any of you guys watching are law students, comment below if you think I can make a case for entrapment here. And I genuinely wouldn't be pissed to get a bad grade in a class if I really thought I hadn't done well. But I checked with a couple other kids in the class, and it seems like the average grade at the end was somewhere between a B and a C+. Everyone had done so poorly on the presentation that there had effectively been a reverse curve down a letter grade.
I love the Bass Pro
Shop. To add
shop.
to my frustration, this class had ensured that my cumulative GPA was a 3797, which disqualified me from applying to the
I was about to say, you need a 3.8
Goldwater Scholarship, as our school only nominates students with a 3.8 GPA or higher.
That's cooked.
I hate astrophysics.
Okay, you just hate the professor. The professor debated you. The professor debated you so hard. Oh gosh. Poor guy. Poor guy actually got scammed. Big scam. That's it? Okay. You know, I thought he was gonna say like some things about how astrophysics was bad, like the program sucked. But in reality, it doesn't suck. He just had a horrible professor who was insecure. The professor was literally insecure and needed to dunk on students for some reason. Like, that's literally what happened. Yeah, dog water professor. I will say you find a lot of people like that.